If you think hard enough, you might often wonder what is that thin line which differentiates ego and self esteem. Maybe the former is destructive and the latter is constructive. Spiritual traditions have always spoken or cautioned us against the ego. Psychological traditions have spoken in favor of self esteem, which is another form of ego. What needs to be developed in life is a certain transcendence, which involves going beyond the destructive aspects of ego while maintaining the constructive aspects after understanding what is so constructive about it. Life by default is a huge trap played out by the ego in the form of our inclinations, our identifications with certain roles, our likes and dislikes, the sense of lack or incompleteness that we feel in life. All of these are traps laid out by the ego, and we constantly operate from these traps. Our quest for greater wealth, or our quest for repairing our relationships, considering them to be imperfect as they are, and our quest for becoming more and more of what we already are, is what puts us face to face, or in many ways against life, or puts us in a race against life or in a battle with life. So ego itself can create a huge trap, and it is very important to understand how not to identify with a lot of positions, how not to feel incomplete with where we are, how not to have strong likes and dislikes, all of which are manifestations of the ego, and all of which culminate in experience of deeper levels of anger, fear, and grief, either feeling deeply victimized or feeling excessively dominant, both of which are manifestations of the pain body, which is almost a Siamese twin of the ego. There is a definite process to go beyond these identifications, a sense of lack or strong likes and dislikes, and the negative emotions that it generates. And this process has been laid out in our culture very wonderfully. We have been asked to balance it, neither to seek what is pleasant nor to deny what is pleasant, and walk a path wherein we are neither swayed by pleasure nor affected by pain, both of which being functions of the ego, and ego itself being something far larger than arrogance. It is the perceived sense of self, or considering ourselves as a separate identity, which leads to all these manifestations. So at the end of the day, we can't afford to be either childishly dependent owing to this sense of self, or be thoroughly independent like an adolescent and rebellious. We need to be in a certain level of relational responsibility with others, where we are neither dependent nor totally independent, and coming from a sense of inner discipline, which is natural and organic, and intentional love and care. All of this can happen, especially when one is working in a committed way with a committed community that is supportive of growth and enlightenment, and utilizing some core spiritual principles like the law of induction, which involves basically aligning with all the energies that are supportive of our transcending of the ego, or going beyond the ego and not giving into its traps. This eventually leads us to experience a life that is rooted in peace, in conscious pleasure, in prosperity. And this kind of a life is what is called the right spiritual life, in alignment with the right principles, practicing love, organic self-discipline, and relational responsibility.